Here, please.
Good morning. My name is Justin Danhof. I'm representing the National Center for Public Policy Research. We're a free market think tank and a company shareholder. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this morning. Mr. Rogers, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for standing up to radical leftists who have tried to coerce Duke into severing its relationship with the American Legislative Exchange Council. We thank you for sticking with ALEC as it continues to work in defense of liberty, prosperity, and free markets. Secondly, I just want to get your opinion about North Carolina's renewable energy efficiency portfolio standard. It requires utilities to use at least 12.5% renewable energy by 2021 and thereafter, and permits the passing of extra costs on to consumers. As you probably know, yesterday, a North Carolina Senate committee voted to repeal the standard, and future votes are expected to be very close. A study by the John Locke Foundation and Beacon Hill Institute found that North Carolina consumers will pay an extra $2 billion in coming years for this law. These unnecessary costs are unfortunately regressive. They hit the poor hardest. An analysis by my organization found that North Carolina households with annual incomes of $30,000 or less already spend as much as 1/3 of their after-tax income on power bills. Yet Duke and its subsidiary Progress are seeking rate increases of 14.2% and 11.7% respectively. With an unemployment rate of 9.4%, North Carolina can ill afford to discourage businesses from relocating here. But that's what the renewable energy mandate is doing. As the Heartland Institute pointed out in the Charlotte Observer, renewable energy can and should have a chance to develop, but it shouldn't be done on the backs of people, especially the poorest and the most vulnerable among us. So will you agree with us that North Carolina's renewable energy portfolio standard should be repealed, and if not, why? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. I'd start out by simply saying there are 29 states plus the District of Columbia that have renewable portfolio standards in their state. And they vary from state to state. And Congress has considered a renewable portfolio standard for the country. The bottom line is that in the statute we have in this state, there is an economic cap. So if the prices are too high for renewables, we're not required to meet those standards. The most important thing is the cost of solar has come down pretty dramatically. The holy grail was to have it at $1 a watt. Today, it's at 60 cents, and we see visibility to 40 cents. 50% of the cost of installing solar on the rooftop is insulation. We see the install costs coming down, so the costs are coming in line. Now, North Carolina is not a state for wind. Many of y'all have heard me say this. The only place you can put wind in North Carolina is on the ridge lines, and I have a house in the mountains. That's not going to happen. And on the coast. Some have suggested to me, and I've said this before, that maybe we ought to put a wind farm around Raleigh, because there's a lot of talking going on in our state capital. But my belief is simply this, that we have a renewable portfolio standard in place. It has an economic check on it, so it doesn't put too great a burden. The important thing we have to fix in this state is the net metering tariff, because the net metering tariff, more than this renewable portfolio standards, shifts the lost revenue cost to the low and fixed income people in the state. And 43 states have net metering tariffs that do that, and that's a bad outcome. So we have to fix that. I agree with that. Thank you so much. Right here.